Okay, so today, no, what we have to learn is we have to learn S3. Okay, S3 is what? S3 is simple storage service. Okay, so this is again one of the service we have with AWS, and this is, as the name suggests, it is for the sake of storage. Okay, for storage. Okay, so then we should know something much more than this, right? Just by knowing the name is not enough, right? Okay, so what else we can know here? Yeah, so whenever you are learning about these services, no, another thing that comes in picture is no, like, okay, here you can see one is, it is saying that built for 99.99% availability. Nowadays, actually, these things also matters. Okay, if you are going for a certification or something, no, so even they pay attention to these numbers. Okay, and another thing you will come across, no, can you see here, it is saying 11 nines. Amazon guarantees so and so durability for S3 information. Okay, and here this, the number of nines, no, are around 11, so that's the reason it is saying 11 nines. So you will find that there are many places they will say 11 nines, 4 nines, 5 nines. Okay, so you should understand that it is all about how many, no, like it is more like telling like this much it is reliable, or this much it is available. Okay, basically showing the like percentage of, or the level of trust that you should show on that. Okay, that's what. So it is a tired storage available, I mean it is available there. So you'll find that there are different types of storage. Okay, in that storage only there are different types of storage. Okay, so you can read about that here in this document. There is life cycle management. Okay, so you can decide in the sense like, okay, now you want to there are different types of storage again. Okay, so you can decide whether I should go for the standard one, or maybe after 30 days I want to move it to some other one. Okay, and maybe after 90 days I want to archive them. So I can decide on what kind of life cycle I want for my objects. Okay, then again, what is there? Yeah, versioning. Versioning is something which you are already familiar with, right? Versioning is nothing but when you, talk about Git, right? You already have come across Git, so you know what is versioning. So basically, when you are saving some files and there are some copies of those files, and if you want to, kind of keep track of all the changes that you have done. Okay, so you can you can keep track of all those things by enabling versioning. The problem with versioning is that you cannot disable it. You can enable it, but you cannot disable it. Okay, and the thing that you can do is you can suspend it. Okay, and one more thing, when you enable versioning, no, it is like, okay, so consider that before I enabled versioning, there were some files already. Okay, some objects which were already lying in my S3 bucket. Now the problem is versioning won't be applicable to those. Okay, it will only be applicable once you have enabled, and afterwards if you have put some objects inside your S3 bucket, no, only then that will be applicable. Versioning will be applicable to those files. Now you might be wondering why I'm saying object, right? The thing is, S3 is said to be a object storage service. Okay, it's, whatever it is going to store, no, it is considering it as a object. Okay, be it a file. Now files can also be of different types, right? You can store some image files, some text files, or maybe some anything. Okay, right? Some documents, some HTML files, whatever you want to store, you can store that. Okay, and then again, remember one more thing. These storage also, no, there is again some exception in the sense, though I'm saying that you can store anything and everything, there is still some exception, which is like you cannot store the executable files. Okay, so some .exe files, or when it comes to Linux, there are script files, right? .sh files. So you cannot store those kind of things, and also the image files. Image in the sense, not photos and all, not JPG or PNG one. Image I'm talking about is like the ISO image kind of things. Basically the this one, the image of operating system. Okay, those things you cannot store. Rest all you can. Okay, rest anything and everything, even you can create or you can even upload directories and folders also. Okay, so you can do all those things, and you can enable encryption. So again, another level of security. You know that by now, you are sure, I mean, I know that one of the thing I'm sure that you are aware of is that AWS is, first, I mean, it is given first priority to security. So encryption had to be there. You have already seen even in that EC2, right? The volumes were also having the provision for encryption. So you can expect that these people are really into security. Secure your data using access control list and bucket policies. Now, as of now, you don't need to focus much on this, but just understand that you can set some rules and regulations, okay, on your on the data that you are trying to store. Okay. Then what do we have? Okay, remember S3 is object storage, that is allows you to upload files. So basically all you need to understand is whatever you're keeping there, no, it's considered as an object. Okay, that's all. It's not like you have to search for object to place it in there. It's just that it is considering it as an object. Files can be from 0 bytes to 5 TB. Can you see? So each file can be 0 bytes to 5 TB. Okay. So I mean, you can see from the amount that they are saying, the storage, right? The, I mean, how much size it can be, that's quite large, right? 5 terabyte. Okay. Then again, there is unlimited storage. In the sense, this is only talking about file, okay, individual file. In a bucket there can be unlimited storage, in the sense you can keep on filling your bucket. It's just that each file can be up to 5 TB. Okay, files are stored in buckets. Okay, S3 is universal namespace. So this is how, I mean, basically, the objects can be basically you can access through the URL. Okay, so you will find something like this. Okay, now remember that when you say that it can be accessed through URL, then the name should be in a definite manner, right? You cannot just write any random kind of name, right? That also you should understand. Anyhow, it will be a point which will come ahead. Okay, so you'll get to know that. Okay, these things I think you can read. It's all about just you need to understand. Okay, like how the service is and what is it all about. Just remember that when you are learning some services, no, do make sure that you even see the symbol, okay, associated with each service. Now, when it comes to S3, there can be some doubts which can come up. I'll tell you anyhow. It is there in this document. So anyhow, let's see here. First of all, what we have here. Okay, create your bucket, add an object. Okay, these are just about the steps involved. Okay, we can skip them as of now because anyhow we have to do that, right? Okay, so what do we have here? Bucket restrictions and limitations. Okay, a bucket is owned by the AWS account that created it with following restrictions and limitations. So basically, a bucket, the moment you create a bucket, and now understand that S3 is the service name. Okay, and just the way EC2 was the service name and instance was the virtual machine, right? In the same manner, S3 is the service name and bucket is the storage unit. Okay, the one which is going to store things is termed as bucket, and the things that you're going to store are termed as objects. Okay, you can create up to 100 buckets in each of your AWS account. Okay, so understand this is talking about the bucket. Okay, not how much you can store in a bucket. So 100 buckets you can store. Now this itself is more than enough, right? So around 100 buckets you can have in a single AWS account, and the ownership is going to remain with that given account. Okay, bucket ownership is not transferable. So basically, you cannot, I mean, you created a bucket in a given account and you want to give it to some other person, okay, other account. You cannot do that. You have to keep it with yourself. There is no limit to the number of objects that can be stored in a bucket. So that is why it is said unlimited storage. Okay, so you can keep on filling objects in your given bucket. Okay, no difference in performance whether you use many buckets or just a few. Now sometimes, no, if you see, when you are having disk, okay, in a system, if you have some disk, no, so sometimes you might have come across this situation wherein if a given disk, no, if you continue, I mean, think that you just have a single disk, okay, and you kept on filling data inside the single disk, okay. So there are chances that after some point of time, no, if you try to retrieve some given data, it may take more time, okay, because of the IO process it has to do in order to fetch the data, okay. And in the same manner, you might see that sometimes you might have heard, right, like if there are multiple disks, right, and have you people heard of RAID configuration anytime? Hmm? So it is one kind of clustering, okay. So if you see workstations and all, no, they will keep multiple disks, okay, and it will be RAID configured. RAID configuration is done mainly for the sake of what should I say, I mean, it's one thing is for fault tolerance, okay, and another is for even high availability, okay. I mean, it is actually something which is coming together, because if you see, fault tolerance means if at all some one of the disk goes bad, at least another one should have some data, right? Or at least it should be able to help you with getting or retrieving the data which is lost. Okay, so that is one thing, right? So that way it is fault tolerant, high availability, because if at all by chance the data in one of the thing is lost, you still have the other one. Okay, so that way high availability comes in picture. Okay, so basically the reason why I'm telling you this is whenever you have multiple disk, no, so multiple IO process has to run. Okay, if your system is not capable of doing that, no, so then your system may be slow while no reading writing in a disk. Okay, so here they are saying that even if you have multiple buckets or even if you have a few buckets, still the performance is not going to get affected. Okay, so that means even if you have a bucket which is storing multiple data, if you have to retrieve a given data from that, it's going to be fine. It's not going to take much time. Okay, and in the same manner, if you have maybe more buckets and you have a lot of files in all those buckets, or maybe few files in each bucket, you still have the same performance. It's not going to affect at all. So good, right? So that way it is having no issue when it comes to the parallel processing. Okay, once you have created a bucket, you can't change its region. So basically, remember that you have the S3 service, right? S3 service is global service, okay? But the bucket is regional. Now understand the reason for this. The thing is, as I said, bucket is what? Storage unit, right? So if at all consider that, I mean, okay, you think it in this manner, okay? Like you want to store something, okay? You want to store maybe water, okay? You want to store water, but then if at all, I mean, you just need maybe some 5 liters, okay? And I mean, you would like to only save it maybe one or two places. You may not store it like in 10 places, right? It is unnecessary waste. Now even if you have that many buckets, if you are going to store it, it's anyhow going to go bad after some time, so you don't want to do that, right? In the same manner, if you consider bucket, since it's a storage unit, if you are going to keep like I mean, in every region you are going to keep a copy of the bucket and the data which is going to be placed in the bucket, it is unnecessary wastage of the storage, right? So you cannot do that. What you will do is, whenever you are going to create a bucket, you will specify which region it should belong to. Okay, so only that given region will have that given bucket. Okay, you cannot create a bucket within another bucket. So basically the this kind of structure is not possible. In the sense, you cannot have a bucket within a bucket. Okay, so it's not like nested loop can be working elsewhere. Okay, so nested things don't work everywhere. Now comes another important thing, which is rules for bucket naming. Now, since you have to create bucket, you should know how to name them, right? And just the way you name the variables, no, you should also know the convention for bucket naming. Since you already got to know that it is belonging to universal namespace, right? So, rules for naming the bucket. are very important, because once you create an S3 bucket, you can't change the bucket name. So choose the name wisely. Okay. Bucket names must be unique. Okay. So bucket name has to be unique. Bucket names must comply with DNS naming convention. Now understand the reason quite, I mean, this is something which you can understand, because by now I told you the fact that buckets are something which you can access through URLs, right? So if you have to access it through URL, of course it has to comply with the DNS naming convention. Okay. Bucket names must be at least 3 and no more than 63 characters long. So this is the limit, okay, the range actually. So from 3 to 63 characters. It cannot go, I mean, it cannot be less than that, or it cannot go beyond that, okay. Then bucket names must not contain uppercase characters or underscore, okay. So it cannot contain uppercase characters or underscore. Bucket names must start with a lowercase letter or number. Okay, either you should have a lowercase or a number. Okay. Then what do we have? Bucket names cannot contain dashes next to period. Okay, so dash then period or period then dash. Either of these things don't work. Okay, so you can see here it is shown dash, then there is a period. Here it is shown otherwise. So here there is a dot, or say the period and then a dash. Okay, so either of these two things won't work. Then what do we have? Bucket names must not be formatted as a IP address. So you cannot keep this kind of bucket name, okay? Just because there can be numbers doesn't mean that you have to, I mean, you can keep it this way, okay? So it cannot be like a IP address. Valid examples. So here some examples are given for you to refer, okay? Then what do we have? Yeah, now next thing, yeah, this is what I was talking about. So just look at this. The service name is S3, right? So the symbol for the service, okay, is looking like this. This one what you have is bucket, okay, an empty bucket. It's just a empty bucket. This one, if you look at this, the bucket is having some objects, right? The circle, square, triangle actually represents objects, okay. So you should know the kind of convention they use to represent. Okay. So sometimes when you have to come across, I mean, whenever you come across some AWS architecture, no, you will get to see these kind of diagrams. Okay. So flow charts, diagrams, you will see. So even if you are coming across those things, in order to be able to identify those things, you should have a basic understanding of the symbols. Okay. For each of them. So just have a look at this, okay? Then what do we have? Okay, object storage or object-based storage is a general term that refers to the way in which we organize and work. Now, the reason why it is being called as object storage, it is actually being told over here, okay? So the thing is, the data that you are trying to store, along with that, some details are also getting stored, okay? Metadata is nothing but some hidden details, okay? So it can be some ID, some data, okay, related to that. Some, I mean, some data regarding the format or all those things, okay, that comes under the metadata. And the globally unique identifier is nothing but the name that you're providing to your object, okay. So yes, those are the things. So you can read more in more details over here, okay. And then what do we have here? Okay, block storage. Okay, these things, okay, we can kind of skip it because this document is available. Okay, so just have a look. Benefits. Okay, so yeah, you can just have a look at these things too. And yeah, also go through the use cases. The reason why I'm saying that you should go through the use cases is mainly because you should know, right, when we should go for the object storage. I mean, we are having disk and all, then why we should go for the S3 service, right? So I'll give you one example which actually somebody shared with me. So it was like, now just look at Amazon itself. Okay, this Amazon Web Service is something which belongs to them. So just think, if you look at their e-commerce, right? Amazon has got a e-commerce website, right? So Amazon is actually speaking initially known for their e-commerce only, right? So if you see, there are like a variety of equipments, clothings, this, that, whatnot, right? They are globalization they are doing there, right? Selling and getting things and no, like making it available for the customers, right? So now if you look at this, the fact that those many, whenever you are looking for some, trying to shop for some given item, you will get to see like n number of things, right? And there are maybe 3 or 4 images for each of those items. Don't you think that they might be keeping these images at some given place, right, where it is easily accessible? So don't you think that they might be using their own service, their own this object service, because anyhow it is unlimited, right? So they can use it, right? So they might be using it in the same manner. If you go through these, right, these use cases, you will get more insight on how they are using their bucket service, okay, the S3 service, okay. So just have a look at these examples, basically the use cases, okay. And we'll do one thing, we'll try to explore it by ourselves, okay, rather than just figuring it out by looking at this. It's better to try it, right? And even we have to do some more thing, okay. For that we'll try to refer to a document, may not be completely but partially. I'll tell you why not completely, and I'll also ask you to do it completely. Okay, so let's see. Okay. This is something I really want to avoid, but they really are into no this, or what should I say, into security. I believe that is Q. I'm not sure though. No. Mhm. I better try to remove wherever that Q appears. No, it's better to remove. Most probably, no, it is G. But then again, what is that? C. And seriously, I think no. Sometime no, somebody should write to them. There are too many security process going on at the beginning itself while we are logging in. That should at least be avoided. But then again, they might be having some reason for focusing so much on security. So let's go to S3. Have you seen S3 is coming under which one, which category? It is coming under the storage category. Okay. So please do look at these things. Okay. These, though it looks quite trivial, but then it is quite important, right? Because you should be knowing like under which category what service comes. Okay. Okay. So I already have one bucket. Okay. Then again, I want to create a new bucket. And yeah, now since you remember, right, what I said, S3 is a global service. Can you see here it is mentioned that it is a global service. Now what I can do is I can create a bucket. Okay, let's create one. Now comes the, let me see how many of you remember the rules for the bucket naming. So let's create one bucket. Okay, so I am not sure whether what name I can give, but then again, let's see. So demo, I'm just giving some name. Okay, I'm not sure whether I'll be able to create this. And see, can you see here, the next thing that appears is region. Okay, so basically what you need to understand here is that bucket name has to be unique. Okay, the S3 service is global, but then the bucket location has to be not global, it has to be regional. Okay, you cannot have, if you just try to create it like globally, just think about how many copies of that bucket will be there and how much of redundant data will be there. Like every location will have the same files. It is unnecessary wastage of storage, right? So who will do that here? Okay, they are having some things. Okay, I can mention some other location. Even if that is the same location, I don't mind. Okay, so let it be. And see, there is another option, what they are saying, copy settings from existing bucket. Well, it's a optional one. Okay, so I am not going for that. I will go down. We'll see what next we have. Yeah, now this is something important. Can you see block public access settings for this bucket? So that means block all public access. Okay, once you understand that all public access is blocked, that means your bucket is basically private. Okay, so by default, what they are saying to keep your bucket private. But then again, you do, I mean, they are even giving you options in which you can keep your bucket. I mean, not private completely, but you can have some public access too. Okay, and or you can even just remove this and have your bucket as a complete public. Okay, bucket. Okay, it's all up to you how you want it. But then again, I mean, since by default it is blocking it, so understand that by default that they want you to have a private bucket. Okay, which is not accessible from outside. Bucket versioning. Okay, let it be like this. Let it be disabled as of now. I'm not going to enable it now. Then there is something like tags, which is again optional, so we can avoid that for time being. Then what do we have is encryption. So by default it is disabled, so yes, we can just leave it as it is. Okay, then what we can do is just create on let's click on create bucket, and we'll get to know whether the name, okay, bucket with the same name exists already. Can you see, this is the problem what I spoke about, it has to be unique. Okay, so what can I do about making it unique? uh, Quite difficult thing actually. I will do it this way. I cannot remember huge names, this also is not possible about. Let's see. I'm not sure whether this will work or not. Let's see. 1, 2, 3 demo training. Okay, I think it is working. Okay, so that name can be taken. Okay, nobody else has taken this name, so I can use it. Now understand the reason why they are saying that it has to be unique. Since we can access it through URL, no? So somewhere, if at all it is going to be like, like multiple people are going to have the same name, so it might have a issue, right? Because S3 is going to be, it is a global service, right? So you have to make sure that it is, there cannot be multiple people with the same name, right? When it is a global thing, right? So, in the sense, if you have multiple people with the same name in a company, there are always chances of confusion, right? So, this can be considered a similar situation. So, that's why they are kind of focusing or say stressing on the fact that you should keep it unique. Okay. So, now we have our bucket. Now, what can we do? If we have a bucket, of course, we'll try to add some objects, right? So let's go there. Okay, I have my bucket, but it is empty, right? As of now, I don't have anything in my bucket. So the first thing that I can do is upload. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. I'll try to upload something. So can you see here, I do have option for adding files or adding folder. Okay, but then again, I'm just going for files, not folder. File I can take from maybe downloads. Okay, and what should I take here? Okay, I can make use of some file. Okay, not okay, maybe this one, conda cheat sheet. Okay, just remember that all I've done as of now is I clicked on add file, right? And then I just selected something. Okay, it's still not uploaded. Okay, so the next thing that I need to do is I need to upload. Click on upload. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. And can you see here they are saying properties, under properties they are saying specify storage class. As of now, don't worry about these things. It's just that, as I said, there can be different storage classes, basically different types of storage. Okay, whether you want the standard type, whether you want the intelligent tiering, whether you want standard IA infrequent access. Okay, then one zone infrequent access, glacier, deep archive. Okay, if you get to read about these things, no, these are like different types. Okay, so you'll find that depending on the type, no, you will see like how frequently you can access them. Okay, and like how I mean how much they are like having the availability. Okay, all those things will come to picture. Okay, so just I'll suggest you, if possible, just go through this. Okay, that these types. Okay, it will give you more insight. As of now, you can see that by default it goes for the standard one. Okay, which can be frequently accessed. So yeah, let it be that. Then we can go for upload. Okay, it is okay uploaded, it seems. Okay, now it is uploaded. Okay, and you can see here there is kind of the destination. Can you see it is in the form of a URL, right? Okay, so now what I can do is I can try to access this, right? So let's go back. Actually, I can just close this. Okay, so I can see that this is the object lying in my bucket. Okay, so I can even go here. I think I can see this is my bucket, right? Now if I want to access my object, okay, so I can do that, right? Let's see whether if I can access the object. I think I can click on the object, and as I said, there will be some URL, right? Can you see here it is saying object URL, right? Right, so let's just copy this and we'll see whether we are able to access it. Okay, so if I try to paste it over here, am I able to access it? Is it accessible? What do you think? It is saying, right? What is it saying? It is saying access denied. Now again, understand the same thing that we try to understand when it comes to EC2. Same thing applies over here as well. Remember that I told you that the moment I created that bucket, it was basically created as a private bucket. Okay, I didn't uncheck that box. It was kept as a private bucket. Even if you are not sure about this, I think we can just cross verify it over here itself. If you see, let me go back to this one. Now just look at this. Can you see under access what is mentioned over here and what is mentioned over here? What is mentioned? It is saying bucket and objects not public, right? So that means the bucket as well as the object is not public. And if you look at this, here it is mentioned in a different manner. What is it saying? It is saying objects can be public. Okay. Now here is a catch. Okay. It's having a catch. So what is the catch over here? The thing that you need to understand over here is that even if I keep the bucket as public, okay, I do have a provision that whatever object I'm going to store inside my bucket, I can give separate permission to them. In the sense, if I have say 5 objects in my bucket, I can decide like out of those 5 objects, which of those I want to be public and which I want to be private. Okay, I can decide that. So objects can be public. It's not saying objects are public. Okay, and here it is saying both are not public. So first thing we can do is we can make this public. Okay, so let's see how we can make them public. So I think we can go for this. Let's see, or maybe it is coming under permissions. Okay, yeah, here it is saying no. Yeah, let's go a little below here. Okay, can you see edit option is there? This is under like, can you see block public access? Let's edit this, and I'm like unselecting this one. Okay, so it won't block any of those. I don't want to go to granularity at this point of time. Otherwise, if you really want some granular way of public access, you can decide that way, because these people, you know, right, everywhere they really go for creating like different sub levels. So you can really go, like in a very granular manner, you can select like what you want. Okay, so I'm not going to that extent. I'm just going to keep it as a public bucket. Okay, so save changes. I have to type in confirm, right? Confirm. Okay. So now that is done. So my bucket has become public. Okay. So now will I be able to access this? What do you think? Hmm? Now, is it possible for me to access this? Let me just
Yes.
refresh. See, I refreshed it, but it is still not accessible. The reason is I have only made my bucket public. Remember, the permission for the bucket and the permission for the object is separate. Okay. So bucket is still, I mean, bucket has become public, but the object is still not public. Okay. I have the provision to decide like what all objects can be public, what all objects can be private. Okay. So like it is like separate permission has to be provided. Okay. So let's see. Now bucket is fine. Coming to object. Okay. Now let's see about the object. So the moment I clicked on object, there is the option for permission. Okay. So let's go to there and we'll see edit. Okay. So here I have the option to give this one. Okay. So as of now, I'm just selecting, I mean, only read permission it is giving. Okay. So let's click on read. So everyone means it's a public access, right? And since I'm doing something which is actually risky in terms of security, that's why you can see this kind of alert, right? It's fine, it's like a warning. If you can, I mean, you can ignore it, of course. Okay, so I understand the effect of these changes on the subject, but then again I'm still going forward, and I'm just going to save these changes. Okay, now I have saved these changes. Now let's go back. Okay, and now let's try to refresh. Do you find this? Okay, and now do you understand what is it all about? Basically, the permission for the bucket and the permission for the object is separate. Okay, so it is more like, again, the permission is also like tired. Okay, so basically the first tier is for the bucket. If you go inside further, there is another tier for the object. Okay, layered security. So now you can see, right? And yeah, for Ashika, I am doing something. Ashika, you can test whether you are able to access or not. Okay. And even others also. Okay. Just see whether you are able to access. Okay. I have just pasted it on the chat box. See whether you are able to access this one. Okay. And by the time
Yeah, I can access.
it is accessible, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, that's good. Last time I was not able to show, so I was kind of feeling like, yeah, I should show. Okay. Now what else do we have? Mhm. Okay, so first thing we have seen like how to upload things and how we can no, I mean, give it permission so that we can access it. That's done. Then what do we have? Okay. Okay, another interesting thing is there. Okay, so interesting thing is nothing but you do have a provision that you can convert. I mean, you can make use of your S3 bucket for hosting website. Okay, static website. Now the reason they are saying it as static is because it's not going to be changing one, but rather you can I mean, you can have some HTML files in your bucket. Okay, and you can use it as a static website. Okay, so that's good, right? So let's do one thing. Okay, let's have some HTML file. Okay, first of all, let's upload some HTML file and we'll try to do this. Okay, so let's go back to the bucket. I just want to go back to my bucket like this, and let's go for upload, and let's add files, and I should remember where I can get some HTML file. Okay, let's go to desktop, and desktop, where were our projects here? Yeah, I think our projects were all in this one, right? So I'll go for the first project. Which one was our first project? My project or what? I think this one, right? My project. So I can take the template, whatever we have here. So which one was that template that we had? Hmm? Okay, maybe the welcome one. I'm not sure though. So the problem is, no, by chance, if I have mentioned some HTML file or anything, no, then I'm gone. I mean, not HTML file, the images or something. Okay, because those images won't appear over here, right? Because that images were something that I had in my system, right? So even if this file will display something, I mean, mention some HTML file name, I mean, any image name, it won't appear. Okay, that's the issue. But then again, I'm taking it and we'll see whatever it is. Okay, and even if there is some ginger tag or something, that also won't do anything. So let's click on upload. Okay, okay, now it is happening. Okay, done with that. Yeah, now what should I do? I can just close this. Yeah, remember again, I have uploaded a file. What should be the next thing that I should do? Hmm? I have just uploaded the file. Will I be able to access it? Let's see. I can just see whether I can access it. So this is my URL, and if I go for accessing it, access denied. So why is it denied? You know, right, by now, the thing that is missing, what am I missing? I have just uploaded. Did I give any permission to it? Did I give the no public permission? I mean, like publicly I can access it. No, right? Public access is still denied for it. So let's give that access. Okay, and then yeah, I do understand what kind of issues I'll face if at all the vital document gets into wrong hands. Yeah, so now it is public. Now I can access it. So yeah, let's see. Oh, there was something. Mhm. Okay, happens. Anyhow, I was expecting this. Anyhow, that's okay. At least I can see this, right? This much at least, which makes it clear that it is accessible, right? Now we'll go for the web hosting. Okay, so for doing that, again, I need to go for, let's see, let's select our bucket, go for properties. Okay, under properties, if you will just scroll down, you will find the option for static web hosting. So click on edit. Okay, so let's enable this. Okay, and yeah, I want to host a static website. Of course, I want to do that. Now what next? Now look at this. It is saying specify the home or default page of the website. So I don't have index.html. What I had was welcome.html, right? So let's mention that welcome.html. And actually speaking, I don't have any error page. Error is in the sense, by chance, consider that for some reason this file is not like it is not accessible. Okay, for some reason, then in that case, if you want to give some other page, okay, which shows some given error, okay, you can do that. It's all up to you. But anyhow, I don't have any error file. Even if I don't have, that they are anyhow good with giving error file, right? So I can kind of skip that part. So, and then they are saying about the redirecting rules. You know about redirection by now, right? The redirection rules are nothing but, if at all you want to navigate from one page to another, you can go for giving these kind of rules. But again, I am not going to do that. So I can just go for save changes. Okay, so now that I have saved the changes, what do we have? If I go back to the bottom, can you see here there is another URL that is coming up? Okay, so if I try to see this one, okay, so this is nothing but what we call a static web hosting. Okay, so you want, I'll give it to you as well. Though if it was having some image and all, no, it would have looked much better. But never mind. This and then this. Okay, so yeah, see, I'm able to access it. Okay, so basically what I did, the first thing is, whenever you are uploading some file, make sure that first of all the bucket should be public, then the object should be public. Once the object is public, and if you are enabling the web hosting, okay, so there you know that all you have to do is what file you want to display. You have to mention that, and that file should be existing in your bucket. Okay, only then it should be able to find that file and display it, right? So that's all about it. So this was quite easy, right? In the sense, if at all you want to have some blog, okay, I mean there are people who write blogs, right? If you want something like that, you can do that using S3. And blogs are not something which is dynamic. It is mostly static, right? On each day, if you want to change, you can change it, but otherwise on its own it's not going to change, like as in case of the post that you see in your Facebook page or in Instagram and all, right? Those things keep on changing, right? That won't happen here. But then again, at least it is like helping you. You don't need to no unnecessarily buy any domain or anything like that, right? If you had to create your own website, you had to do those things, right? But this is good. Now what next do we have? We'll try next versioning. Okay, there is encryption also that we can try, but encryption is not something that I am very fond of. You can see that how much I am against security part, right? So anyhow, I'm not going for that one. But then again, let's see. Oh, I don't want this to appear like this. Okay. Now next thing that we have is okay. This is done. We'll go for versioning. Okay. Do you remember what I told about versioning? Versioning has got some issue, right? Okay. So under properties, we have versioning. So I can edit it. Okay. So let's click on edit. So can you see here there is an option for suspend and enable, right? So let's click on enable. Okay, and here it is saying after enabling bucket versioning, you might need to update your lifecycle rules to manage previous versions of objects. So basically the previous one, no, those won't be like versioned, right? So that's the reason. Anyhow, I'll just save changes. Okay, so now I have enabled versioning. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'll again try to upload some new file into my bucket. Okay, so let's go for doing that. Okay, I want to upload some file, add file. Where can I get some file? I don't want to add anything from here. Okay, these files, no, since it belongs to the Django project, you know that there will be Jinja tags, there will be all those things, right? I kind of want to avoid those things. So what can I go for? Okay, maybe this one this time. Okay. Okay, let's open it. Okay, now let's upload it. Okay, yeah, now it is getting uploaded. Quite, I mean, it is happening quite fast, right? I mean, much better to see this way, right? If it was taking too long, it would have been really headache, right? Okay, so I was able to upload the document or whatever file I wanted to upload. Okay, so as of now, it is anyhow private, but we can at least check the version. Okay, can you see here there is an option for show version, and just see whatever was existing previously, no, they are not having any version ID, and the one which I just uploaded, only that is having version ID. Okay, so now since okay, so all you need to understand is versioning starts working. Okay, it starts taking into action only from the time you have I mean enable the versioning. Okay, once you enable the versioning, then you whatever file you are adding, no, those will be affected by the versioning. If you don't want, I mean if you want to do something about the files which are existing previous or previously, you have to do something like the life management and all, right? But basically, life management is all about like how much time you want to retain those things in the bucket. How after some time, if you want to put it for some other like in the, I mean, you saw right by default it was in standard, right? And the way it is going to store, right? So it is all about the kind of storage, okay, the kind of way it is going to keep your files. So these are actually the basic things that you need to know when it comes to bucketing. I mean, when it comes to the S3 buckets. Okay. So one is about how you give the permissions. Okay. Not just for the bucket, but also for the object. Then comes the next thing, that is about the the static website hosting. So that is again something which is good, right? One of the best application, because you don't have to pay unnecessarily. Because if you see, otherwise if you are going to create a website, no, you have to pay. I mean, sometimes initial 1 year they may not ask you to pay anything, but then after 1 year they'll ask you to pay for the domain name and all. Okay, so that is the thing. Here you don't need to do that. Thirdly, the thing that you got to learn was about the versioning. Now, versioning is, I mean, you already know the importance of versioning, right? And then again, there comes fourth point, which is encryption. Though I'm not showing you that, but then encryption is also applicable. That is, I mean, the thing is, I'm not very fond of the security point of view, because, frankly speaking, I'm not having any top secrets here. Okay. Then again, see, whenever you are working in a organization, you will be requiring to look into the security point of view. So yeah, please do make sure to find out like how to do that. Okay. And try to do that. I mean, learn that. Now what I'm going to do is, I am going to use this bucket for another purpose. Okay. And for that, I'm going to refer to a document. Okay. And yeah, I need your help, because yeah, because I need your help. That is the reason I'm going to take your help. So I'm going to follow a document. I told you many a times, right? Once you have learned about the Django, the next thing that you have to do is, you have to search for documents online and try to implement those things. So in the same manner, I have a document. The only problem is, I cannot like just go by it like blindly. I have to use some of my own intelligence. Okay. The reason is, the case that this person is having here and the case that I have is a little different. In the sense, this person, whoever it is, his project is working on his local system. Okay. I mean, his Django project is running on his local system, and he is trying to retrieve the static files from the S3 bucket. Okay. Now the problem which I am having is that I am not going to have the project, I mean, which is running on my local system integrated with the S3 bucket. Rather, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to run my project like yesterday how we did in the this one EC2 instance, and that has to communicate with the S3 bucket. Okay. And get the files, static files. Okay. So it is going to be a little different, but then again we can do it. Okay. So first thing, let's create a folder. Okay. So I want my folder to be static. Okay. And okay, I don't want any encryption. Okay. So let's create the folder. I think that is created. Okay. So once it is created, we'll try to upload some images there. Okay. So yeah, I have some nice image, right? I mean, I think this time we'll go for the Avengers. No, I remember. I believe I remember where it is. So I believe it was there only, right, where we have done the project. Yeah, this one. Yeah, I believe it was there in that first one itself. Okay. Yeah, this one. Only Avengers is enough, right? We won't go for the flower one. Avengers is enough, I believe. Okay, let's upload this. Okay, it is getting uploaded. Okay, fine. Done with that. Now what do we have? Yeah, let's close this. Tell me what I should do next. I have uploaded some file, right? Then what should be the next thing that I do? Once you upload a file, what should be the next thing? You want to, of course, see the, yeah, permission. I should go for permission. So click on this, and please notice one more thing. This is actually showing the, I mean, how it is for the this one, the folder, and you can see that folder doesn't have a option for permission. Okay, so then I just need to look at the file. Okay, so file has permissions. So here I can just go for edit. Okay, public access is what I want. And yeah, and if you remember, you remember, right? Yesterday I didn't close, I didn't terminate one of the instance, right? So yeah, that is what I'm going to use, because we already have started a Django project in that. Okay, so that is what we will be using. So first thing, yeah, even we have to go for that, right? But yeah, let's see. I'll open in a different window. Okay, and yeah, I hope that you people remember how to connect with EC2 instance. Okay, and you can even see the IP might have changed already. Why is it not showing my instance? I have not removed it, and hope so that it was running in this place only. Okay, can you see why it is not showing? Because it is searching for the instance which is running, and yeah, my instance is not running, so it won't be showing there. So let's start this. Yeah, before I start this, now comes another question. Did anyone try to find the no, like why we need IAM role? Anybody? Huh? Anybody who tried to find that why we need IAM role? Nobody? Huh? Seriously? Okay, fine. I think I should be the one to explain this. Okay, we'll go to that. We'll see. Earlier, no, since the dashboard has changed a bit, I'm not sure whether it appears still like that or not, but let's see. Okay. Okay, no, earlier actually it used to give the reason like why you need roles and all. Okay, so it was good to go with that one. Anyhow, if it is not mentioned over here, fine, still you have the official documents, right? Okay, now let me tell you like why we need role. Now understand that generally when we have to access some services from our system, local system, right? That time we go for the IAM user and all, right? You have to, have some for from outside whenever you have to go to your AWS account and access some services. That's when you want the IAM user, right? Like a normal username password, right? But then with limited permission. Okay, that's what IAM user is all about. Now the thing is, I want to access an IAM, I want to access some AWS service, okay, but from another service. In the sense, I am working with EC2 instance, okay. Now EC2 instance requires to connect to S3 bucket, okay. So frankly speaking, this time ahead, it's not a user who requires some service, but rather another service is requiring another, one service is requiring another service. Okay, so from EC2 I need to connect to S3. Okay, now when I have to communicate between services, I need a role. Okay, so role is something which will let one service to communicate with another. I'm sure I might have created already. Can you see already I do have something, but never mind, we'll create one more just so that you can see how to create and all. Okay, so you can select like from which service you want to connect to which other service. So since I have EC2 instance, right, so let's go for EC2, select EC2. Okay, and go for next permission. Yeah, here you can select like what permission you want to give to EC2. So since I am concerned with S3 bucket, I can go for giving S3 full access. Okay, and yeah, let's go for next. Tags, here I really don't need tag. Okay, so I can just go for review. Here I can give some name for it. Okay, so you can see already some names I have already given. Okay, so as of now I can just give EC2 S3, Actually, earlier when I gave no, I had missed C, so that's fine, the name will be different. Okay, and you can see here it is mentioned allows EC2 instances to call AWS services on your behalf. Okay, so from EC2 I can call which service? S3 service, because only that permission I have given. If you want no, at some later point of time you feel like you want to add some other this one, okay, permissions, you can do that. Okay, you want to from EC2 you want to access some other service also, so you can do that. Okay, it's not like you can only have one single permission, that's not the case. Okay, anyhow, now since I mean I only required S3, I went for that. Now I'll just go for creating role. Okay, so now my role is created. Okay, yeah, here goes my role. Now let's go back to where is my EC2 service. Okay, EC2, yeah, this is the one, right? Hope so. Yeah, this is EC2. Now what I can do is you can see, first of all you should select this one. Okay, and if you go for actions, okay, so there is an option. Okay, there is that option. Yeah, not this one. Yeah, here can you see under security you have the option modify IAM role. Okay, so here you do have a provision to choose. So I'm choosing the one which we created just now. Okay, and we can save it. Okay, you understood where we went? Click on the this one. Okay, the EC2 instance for which you want to attach, and go for actions. Under actions you have security. Under security you have modify IAM role. Okay, so why we required this? Because from EC2 I should be able to access the image which is going to lie in my this one S3 bucket. Okay, for that sake I required this. Okay, this IAM role to be attached. Now remember that I have attached role and all, but then my system is still in a stopped state. Okay, I should start it. So let's start it. Okay, so now it is getting started. So you can see I was able to successfully attach the rule, and now I was able to successfully start the instance. Now let it get started. Then we'll also get started. By the time we can look at the this one. Okay, so what all we require. So the reason why I'm not following this document completely is because I told you, right? Because this person is like, I mean, he has this project running on his system. Okay, the Django project, and from there he's trying to connect to the S3 bucket. Now my case is a little different, right? So I don't want to like completely follow his. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll partially follow this document, partially I'll go by my own I mean ideas, whatever I have. Okay, and you people can surely try this. Okay, I'll share this document with you. You can try to do one thing, like you already have some Django projects in your system, right? So you can try to have this integrated with that. Okay, so that way you will also have a better understanding. The thing is, I told you many a times that these kind of projects you will find right online, so do make sure that at least you try to implement some of them so you get a better idea. Okay, sometimes these practical implementation will give you more insight on these services or how they can be utilized. Okay, so that would be a good way of learning things. Okay, okay, so I don't want all these things, I know how to create bucket and all. Yeah, from here onwards things will start. Can you see? So these are like some installations required for storage. Okay, so Boto 3 and Django storages. Okay, so these are the things that they are adding. I think there was somewhere it is giving reasoning, okay, for why these two has to be there. Okay, in this document I think you will find that. Okay, yeah, never mind. I think it will it is there anyhow. We'll search for it later on. Now what I'm going to do is yeah, by now I think my system will be turned on. Okay, why is it stopped? I had started it, right? Mm, okay, and that was quite weird. And this time ahead, it started quite soon also. Really weird. I think this is also getting spooked. Okay, never mind. Let's get to our putting. Okay, so without wasting time, let's try to connect. So I can actually do this first, okay, the authentication part. So going to SSH, then auth, and let's search for that file, which is training PK, right? And yeah, let's open it. Now let's go to this one, which is session. Here I need to mention, first of all, the username, which is Ubuntu @ I should mention, oh, I didn't mention the spelling correctly. Yeah, now I need the this one public IP, right? So let's copy this and yeah, let's paste it over here. Okay, pasted it. Now let's try to open it. So we'll get to know whether, yeah, I have given everything correctly till now. Okay, let's just change settings. Okay, color, use system color. Okay, now this is fine. Okay, yeah, never mind. So yeah, basically, I have, just logged into my EC2 instance where I already have a project running, right? So if I look at this, I can see whether, yeah, my environment is that one. So first thing is to activate your environment. The way you do it is, yeah, let me just expand it a bit so that you can also see things, right? I hope so. This is visible. So source, then environment name env slash, there should be a bin folder. Inside that there will be activate. So yeah, activated that one. Then what I should do is I should get into my new project, right? New project. Basically, I don't need to get into that since I have to do some installation, right? And installation doesn't require me to be in a folder. All that I need is I should be in my environment. Okay, that is most important thing here. So if you look at this document, it says that I need to do some installation. Okay, so it is talking about the Boto 3 and pip install Django storages. Okay, I think I have read this somewhere in this document, which says that okay, these two things are required when it comes to dealing with S3. Okay, so okay, we'll try to install that anyhow. So pip install, first thing is Boto 3. Okay, and next we have pip install Django -storages. Okay, and just see here as well. So once he has installed Django storages, he's also mentioning that in the settings.py under this one. Okay, under installed apps. What is he mentioning there? Storages, just storages. But then again, remember that since we have to have the image, right? So that means we have to create view, and you know that view file exists under app, not it doesn't exist under the project, right? So we even need to create an app. Okay, so let's do that. First thing, pip install Django storages, right? Storages. The reason I'm doing it simultaneously is mainly because of the fact that I can do the entry together, right? Instead of doing it separately inside the the this one, right? Settings.py, I can do it all together, right? So only these two was what I required as of now. Okay. Other thing that I require is you see, of course, you know that images appear in templates, right? So I think I'll also require to have a templates folder. So first of all, let's get inside our base directory, which is what is base directory we have? I think I have to remember the name. Okay, new project. So cd new project. So tab should work, right? Yeah. Here I can create a directory where I can keep my template, right? So templates. Okay, I have made my directory. Now I can do the changes required in the settings.py file. Okay, settings. It doesn't exist here directly, right? So it is, I mean, inside the base directory, there is one more directory with the same name, right? So let's go in that. Inside that, you have the settings.py file. So yeah, now I am in the right place. Now what I can do is, I can do first of all the settings required for having my templates folder, right? That can be the first thing. Though now I know that I'm going in a different order, but then here actually speaking, until and unless I don't run the server, I can go with any order, right? So first of all, let's get into insert mode. Okay, so I need to mention OS, right? And yeah, let's have the template configuration done over here. Okay, so I can mention caps template underscore dir dir equals to os dot path dot join in bracket, base directory is what. I don't need to remember the base directory. I can just type it, right? Base underscore dir. Now remember one thing, like in IDE, I won't get those kind of help while working with the VI, okay? So it doesn't appear on its own, so you have to type in. So yeah, that's it. Templates, okay? Done with this setting. Let's go down and do the remaining things that we need to do. Yeah, do remember that when you're working with VI editor, the arrows work, right? So do work with that so that whatever you want to do, you are able to do it. Okay. So here we have to first of all add storages. Okay. Because we installed, right? Yeah. And oh, I forgot to create app, right? I should have created that too. Anyhow, I can just think of an app name. We can put maybe since the project name is new project, right? So I can maybe put a name like first app. Okay, I mean, just remember one thing, I haven't created the app yet. I should create it. Okay, but then again, I'm just putting the name because I'm not going to run anything until unless I do the required configuration. Okay, so that's fine. If you run something no without doing the required configuration, then you will end up in trouble. So don't do that. And yeah, here inside directories, I can mention the that folder name, right? So I should mention template underscore dir. Actually, there is one more thing which has to be done, which is for the static configuration. But before that, I need to teach you one more thing. Like, how many of you are familiar with putty, by the way? Are you people familiar with putty? Okay, if you are not familiar, let me tell you something. When you have to copy something, no, okay, copy, paste, and putty. If you want to copy something, then you should just select it, okay. And in the same manner, if you want to paste something, all you have to do is right click, okay. Right click will work for pasting, okay. So now there is some settings which is required to be done for static folder, okay. Now these are the things. Can you see? Now, for my case, remember that the access key and the secret access key is not something which I require. The reason is quite simple, because I'm not using any IAM user, right? I'm working from a EC2 instance. So these two things I can skip. The thing I require is, yeah, I need a bucket name, I need the custom domain, I need the object parameter, okay? I need the AWS location, This thing also I can kind of actually ignore this one. Okay, I don't need this parameter. And I mean, let me see whether I can skip this. If it is possible, then it's good. Okay, and the rest of the things I require. So let me just take it from here. So remember one thing, I said that copying and pasting inside the this one, okay, putty, that time you have to just select, and while pasting you have to right click, but you see this is not putty, right? So from here, if I want to copy, I have to do control C only. So now let's go here. While pasting, all I need to do is right click. Okay, can you see? It is done. Now I should remember my bucket name. Okay, now I don't remember that. I am really bad with memory, you know that by now, right? So my bucket name is 123 demo hyphen training. Okay, so let's wherever you see bucket name, no, I mean not this one, okay, because inside my bucket name I should anyhow search for static folder. Okay, so let this be as it is, and let's go to this one. Okay, and yeah, remember the cursor won't work here. What you need to do is you have to navigate through arrows, right? Yeah, let's do that. I should mention my bucket name. Yeah. So 123 uh, demo hyphen training. Oh, I'm mentioning everything in capitals, right? It is not correct. Demo hyphen training. And you know, right, bucket name cannot have uppercase, right? Yeah, this is fine. Storage bucket name, yeah, that's all fine. So inside my bucket name, the folder name is also static, right? So that's fine. Let me see if I can just no comment these lines. Okay, so if I can comment these lines, maybe it would be fine. Okay, so let's see if I can just comment. I'm not sure whether it should, I mean, this one will work or not. But since the reason is generally this is required if it is going to search in my local directory. Now, frankly speaking, the static folder does not exist under the based directory, right? It is existing in my bucket, right? So why it should even look for it in here, right? That's the reason I'm kind of commenting those lines. The rest of the things I can keep. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's save this file. So escape, right quit. Okay, now done with this. Yeah, now since I'm in the environment, I have done the required changes in the settings.py file. Now I can do one thing. I can create my first app. Okay, so python manage.py, not run server. I was about to do that. Okay, start app, and my app name is first app. Why am I giving space there? It was continuous, right? First app. Oh, sorry. Now, since now I'm so habitual of giving py, instead of python, so I'm doing the same thing over there as well. So everywhere, don't expect that all the system will recognize py for python. Okay. It is giving me some error. Why is it so? Manage.py. Okay, maybe no, I should try not to. Okay, no module named first app. Yeah, why it should have a module named first app? That is something that I'm creating for the first time, right? I think I mean, I should do changes in that file. Maybe it is trying to use that one, whatever it is finding there. Okay, so let me see if I can just remove it or just comment it for timing and uncomment it afterwards. So let's comment this. Okay, insert. Let me comment this. Escape. Okay, and right quit. Okay. Quite difficult, no, to deal with these things, especially when you get errors like this. Okay, now do you see it has worked? So maybe it was able to detect that name there. Okay, and that's why it was even, I mean, it was expecting that it should have been already there, but then again, it was not there. So now I think I can uncomment that one. Okay, so let's do that. So these are also kind of learning, right? I mean, I try to do something which is not applicable. So, okay, I could learn something. Okay, now let's remove that one. Okay, and let's keep the spaces as it is. Escape, right quit. Okay, done with this. Now what should we do? Okay, I have added the templates folder. I have added the app. Okay, now remember that what we have to do next is to first of all create a view, right? So if I want to create a view, the file that I should go for is the view file which exists inside my app name. Now remember, where is my app? My app is first app, right? Okay, inside that there should be the views file, right? Yeah, here I should create my first view. Okay, so let's do that. So insert, delete. I mean, now we are going to follow the same process, right? Generally how we will be doing it. So index, in bracket of index I should mention, okay, I'll do one thing, I'll minimize all these things, so if at all you are getting confused, that thing can be avoided. So define index, inside index it should be request. Okay, closed, and then I should provide a return statement, right? Return render, in bracket it should be okay, inside render first thing is request. After that, I can give the template name. Now, template name I can keep as index.html. Okay. And just remember that this time ahead, the HTML file I'm keeping here only. Okay. Inside the templates folder in my EC2 instance only. The static file I have kept in the other one. Okay. That is the S3 bucket. Okay. So return statement is also done. Return render request and the HTML file name. So escape, right quit. Okay, I'm done with this. So once we are done with creating, I mean, the changes that we have to do in the views file, the next thing that we need to do is to, first of all, we have to create a, this one, URLs file, right? Now the thing is, I generally never recollect the things which we need to write in the URLs file. And sometimes even there, if we do some mistake over there, no, it can be really troublesome. So what I'm going to do is, first thing, I'll just copy what we can copy from the URLs file that we have in the project itself. Okay, so cat, the folder is inside the subfolder, right, with the same name. There you will find the URLs file, right? So yeah, this is the file, and this part is what I need to copy. So just see that I'm just selecting those lines. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'll go for vi. Now vi, then you should give the app name, first app. Inside that you should create URLs. And remember that by default, when you type something with vi, if that file does not exist, it will try to create that file. Okay, so urls.py. Okay, create it. Now I can just I mean, first of all, let's go in insert mode and right click. Not here, I should do it here. Okay, right click. So can you see it has pasted everything that I had copied from there. Okay, so now from dot import, right, you have to import the views. Okay, so views. Okay, done with this. And here I need to mention what view am I talking about and where do I want it to display. So I can say that I want to display it as soon as, like I refer to that app, or even we can do it like directly. Okay, we can do that. It's just that we have to mention in the same manner over the in the main file also. In the projects URL file also, we have to mention the path in the similar manner. Okay. So here I should mention the view name, right? So views dot what was the view name? Index, right? Okay, so this is also done. Okay, let's escape, right quit. Okay, done with this. Now in the projects URL file also we have to bring changes, right? So I already had that cat one, right? So from there I just replace cat with vi. Okay, so I can do changes there as well. Earlier, no, I used to have a tendency that instead of doing it in a single session, no, I used to do it in multiple sessions. But nowadays that duplicate session is not working for some reason. Okay, let's go in insert mode. We need to have include, right? Include. Okay, and yeah, now we can go for yeah, inserting here. So path here we should have like this. Okay, if we keep it like this, no, like directly it will end up the I mean having that the index file there itself. Okay, directly. So here we can mention okay, what am I doing? I should mention it this way, right? Include, and in bracket of include I should mention in single quotes first of all app name, that is first app dot urls, right? This is how we mention it. Yeah, closed, then one more bracket is required, then comma, right? Yeah, this is like normal how we generally do. So escape, right quit, done with this. Now what is remaining, or am I done with everything? No, right? Still something is remaining. So I have created the view. I have configured it with the first app URLs file, right? And I have even configured it with the projects URL file. So that is all done. What is remaining is I have created a templates folder, but I am not like provided any template over there, right? So what we can do is we'll go to the templates folder directly, or we can just mention it this way. So vi templates folder, inside that we have to search for what? We cannot search for this because it does not exist, right? Right? Are you people there? I mean, you are getting it right till now what we have done. Are you people understanding this? Or anybody who is facing any difficulty? No, right? I hope you are understanding. So index.html. So now this file, it was not existing. Okay, so I had to create it this way. Now since it's an HTML file, so you can expect there would be a headline. Okay, so the heading can be like welcome to my homepage. I'll keep it this way for it's fine, right? We can have it this way. And okay, I'll enter, and we'll have the Jinja tag, right? You know that there should be the Jinja tag for load static, right? Whenever you have static file, you will have this Jinja tag, of course, right? And yeah, that's done. Then hit enter, and you have the I mean now for images, for including image, you have a tag, right? Image image src, right? Source equals, and you should provide let that be like this. Then you have this, you have okay, I prefer to keep it all actually in no like in pairs, but then here if I do that, no, it is not very comfortable. Okay, when you do it in id, there it is comfortable to do that kind of configuration, but here you can just see like how we can just type in. Okay, so static, and you have to mention the file name. So anybody who remembers the file name, because I don't. file name, yeah, avengers.png. Okay, avengers.png. So do remember that the extension should be correct. If you mention wrong extension, then also you won't be able to successfully upload it. Okay, so I mean, have your image on your this one, yeah, this one, percentage, then there should be curly brackets, then there should be this one, right, the double quotes, and finally we can close this one. Okay, the tag. Okay, I believe that we are done with this. Like anyhow, we will try to figure out if at all it goes wrong. No, anyhow we can check it. Okay, so yeah, hopefully everything seems to be fine. So we'll just run this server. Okay, and we'll see whether it is working or not. So python manage dot py run server, it should be running in 0.0.0.0 colon 8000, right? 8000. Yeah, here. Okay, now it is saying, I mean, it seems to be running. So when it is running, I should know the IP, right? So I got the IP here. Let's see. IP, let's paste that. And going for the 8000 port. Okay. It is giving this one. Where is my image? Oh, it is taking time to load. Can you see? Now you know that my I mean, in my this one EC2 instance, I was not having this image, right? All I had this image was in my this one. What do I say? The S3 bucket. If you don't believe me, I can show you. Okay, I haven't done any mischief over here. You already know. I mean, you can verify it. If you look at this, you can see there is no folder like static, right? There is no such folder like static. So that means what I'm saying is I'm not trying to bluff you. I'm actually the thing is this image is coming from the S3 bucket. Do you accept it? Right? It's coming from the S3 bucket. Right? You believe, right? Because I don't have it in my system. Of course, my Django project, if it was there in that static, I mean, the static folder itself was not there. So how come this image can come from my the EC2 instance? So it is coming from my S3 bucket. Okay. Have you people understood this? How this project was? I mean, how I was able to create this? How I was able to get this here? Right. So what we did, we just had to do some couple of configuration. Basically, first thing was to have the image in our S3 bucket, give permission to it. Then what we did in our project, we had to install like two this one, or do I say two packages. One was boto 3, another one was the Django storages, right? After that, what we did was we did some configuration in the settings file, right, in order to be able to see that. Okay, so here you can see this required settings. So basically, since we are getting the image from the bucket, so we have to do the settings accordingly, right? So in that bucket, where exactly it should look for, so this was the folder name, and that's exactly how it was working. Okay, we didn't require this configuration mainly because of the fact, because we are not looking for the file in the local system. Okay, if it was searching for it in the local system, then this was required. Since that was not the case, it didn't have to have this kind of this given settings. Okay, the rest of things remained as it is. So we had I mean, we had the templates folder, we had to create the view, we had to do the URL configuration, we had to do the, I mean, the configuration of for the static file, basically the ginger tag and all inside the template file. So all those things were as it is, nothing was changed. The only thing was addition was this two. Okay, and I mean, basically this configuration and those two packages. Okay, and yeah, this additional thing over here. Okay, this is part of the package that we are installing here. Okay, I think the explanation for those two packages is also given somewhere. I think I have come across that. Hmm. Okay, let me see. Okay, anyhow, it is there in this file. Okay, yeah. Can you see this thing? I think, yeah. The settings.py configuration will be similar, except we extend so and so to add a few custom parameters, and okay, in order to be able to store the user uploaded files, that is the media assets, in a different location, and also to tell S3 to not override files with the same name. So these things that we installed, no, the storage, Django hyphen storage, and the storages and the Boto3, it was required for the storage part. Okay, S3 bucket part. Okay, nothing else. I think that's it. So we were able to do a project wherein we were able to actually have our files, which is located, image files located in our S3 bucket, to be integrated with our EC2 instance, okay, which is running in our AWS account. Both are running in our AWS account, okay. I think that's it